garden.
Little business. Introduce our speaker. Paul Kobierecki has vintage gold and coin, and he showed us today that one of his pictures is up here, that he graduated from Mid-Valley High School. So the local boy makes good type thing. Paul, you want to give us like a 5 or 6 minute brief summary, and then we'll break for the pizza and soda, and I'll yell that from the back room. This is Paul Kobierecki. Paul, thank you.
Paul.
Let me get out of your way.
Sure.
Okay, thank you so much.
Well, first of all, thanks for inviting me here tonight, even though I'm a substitute. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Paul Kobierecki. I'm from Dixon City. I'm actually a third-generation business person from Dixon City. My grandfather was a blacksmith in Dixon City. My father continued in the same building with a collision repair business, which is still there. I think the business is 53 years old. My younger brother Mark runs that now. And I decided to go to college and get involved in business. And when I did come in here, right here, this picture right here is my class, that I couldn't believe it. You wonder where this went. Our school was taken down in Oliphant, and I graduated '74, and I'm right here in the center. I was the senior class president, and it's very surprising to see something like that when you walk into a place. So I'm happy to finally find out where that is. My younger daughter went to Mid-Valley, the new school, and I searched the halls there, and I see pictures, but now I know where the 70s went, and here they are, the 70s. So I'll try to tell people that I see where the pictures are. And this is a very cool place. I knew of the place. I remember in Oliphant when he was in the other location, I went looking for some things, but never realized, the amount of information that is here. Of course, I don't know exactly what's here, but I see a lot of information. And that's what I'm trying to do with my business. I'm very fortunate that I'm semi-retired at 53 years old. I'm very lucky. I had a chain of video stores, the Montage video stores, in the 80s and 90s. And it turned out we had 6 stores locally, and it ended up to be 22 stores, which we sold in 1996. And that sounds like a lot. There were good stores, bad stores. And we had a partner, but I did very well with that. So I was able to follow my passion, and my passion was coins. I have a very young family. I'm 53 years old, and I just had a boy this past Christmas. So I have a 9-month-old boy, a 3-year-old boy, a 6-year-old girl, and I have an 18-year-old girl from my first marriage. So I'm sort of doing things a little bit backwards, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it, and I'm enjoying my business. I've been a coin collector for about 20 years, and now I did mostly just local shows, regional shows, and now I opened up a store in Dixon City, and I'm about to actually open up a larger store in Dixon City, which will be about the size of this, which is going to emphasize coins and collectible coins and things like that people will be able to come in and look at and get educated about.
Where in Dixon City?
Right to where the old Pawnee Pants place was, or next to Hollywood Video that closed. I purchased that building about 5 years ago, and I have a little gold store in the front now. I had a beer shop in there, and actually Dixon City Assembly of God was there temporarily, and they've moved now up by Chuck E. Cheese up there. And so it's not easy to get commercial real estate tenants right now. The business is really down. I mean, there's so many empty properties, you see them all over the place. So I decided to take the entire building, except for where the beer store was, and really spread my stuff out. Right now it's always locked up in vaults at the banks. I only can bring it out when I have shows because of security and things like that. I see people here that have been in the store, and all it is right now is a buying place. So when I started the business, I figured out how can I get out to people who want to know what I'm doing. So I started a radio show. If people don't know, I've been on WILK. It's 2 years now on Saturdays. I have a radio show at 1 o'clock on Saturdays. And basically it's to educate people. Of course, I'd like you to come into my store and sell me things, but I believe that once you educate people and they know what they have, that they could, no matter where they go, they can at least get a decent buck for it. And that's what I'm trying to do. Of course, I want business to come into my store, but many people hear me from far away, and if they have to go into some other business, at least they could go in and be educated about what they're buying and selling. So that's my mission statement here, and just by doing that, I've been blessed. My business has just really grown. I can't believe it. It's really taken off for me. Of course, the stars are lining up too. As you see with the price of gold and silver, the prices are we've broken historic records this week alone. We've hit $1,270 some an ounce for gold, and that's the highest in history, the price of an ounce for gold. So as we go through tonight, we'll talk about some of those things, and I'll take your questions and see if we could get you educated a little bit more, and hopefully I could be of some service to you. So.
Mr. Kobierecki, it would be a good time now to break.
Very good.
It's hot, it smells delicious.
All right, very good. So enjoy yourself, and we'll get back later on and talk a little bit more. Thank you. Yeah, I gotta make sure there's nothing between my teeth. Yeah, just going on YouTube or something like that, or where they put the things. All right, so we had a little introduction, you know where I'm located there and what I'm doing. First of all, with any dealer in this business, you got to make sure that the dealer, and I'm talking about coins as well as gold, you have to make sure that they're licensed. It's very important. I'm licensed through the sheriff's office, and that's through Lackawanna County. I have to get a yearly license. And of course, you might say, well, all that is a fee, pay for a fee. There are stipulations. You can't be a felon, and they're definitely checking us out more than they did before. We actually have the Department of Agriculture now comes around and puts a sticker on our scales. And that was a little funny in the beginning because the Department of Agriculture, you think about delis or something like that, but actually they want to make sure that our scales are calibrated, because I could be advertising a great price, but if I adjust my scale, I could be making out on the weight and, you know, telling you I'm paying a very high price for something, but also that, you know, the weight wouldn't be correct when I put your items on the scale. So being licensed is very important, and also with that, I'm sure you're aware it's really happening up this way a lot. There are a lot of home break-ins, and it's an epidemic. And many people are blaming a business like our business, because there are a lot of them popping up, for sort of you know, being an easy place for people to sell things off. And that is true to a point. But when you come into our store, you have to present a photo ID. Not to say that a criminal would give me it, and it has happened. Criminals are stupid. You know, to give you their photo ID and sell you something that's stolen that I'm going to turn over in 2 or 3 days to the authorities is pretty foolish, but you see it happen. Most of the problems that I'm seeing with this are people that are involved with drugs, and they're just breaking into people's homes during the day. I'm working on, actually I work with the state police. Believe it or not, we actually call them controlled buys, where actually they want me to buy from particular people so we can nail them. This one set of criminals, they're in their 40s to 50s, they weren't young kids, were going through the Poconos, and actually they walked right into a woman's house during the day, put a gun right to her head, and just told her, we're going to just take, you sit there and be quiet, and we won't kill you. But they robbed their house right in front of them. So that really got me. I was very irritated with that. And we were instrumental in helping to get this guy. He actually came into my store. It was only a $10 item he sold. But that was, we got the information, and it proved that he had stolen merchandise. So I'm happy to say that, you know, we helped get him arrested. And there was a big ring of people in the Poconos doing this. The only problem with this is that as soon as it happens, another one comes along. So I'm also an active member in our Dixon City Crime Watch. I took that under my wing because it gets me to know Dixon City a little bit. We have the chief talk, and you hear council talk, and you get to hear about your city and what's going on. But also, you know, there's so many things I don't know about crime that you're learning. You know, what you should do and how you should prepare for things in your house, and always have a plan, and, you know, and the little dumb things that we do. Listen, I live in Dixon City. I've been here most of my life. My parents are both 85. I'm still blessed to have them. And, you know, you're used to leaving those doors open. You figure, but you can't do that anymore. You just can't. You know, so I just have to tell my parents, you know, you have to lock the door all the time. I visited a lady in Dunmore 2 weeks ago. She was 93 years old. I do house calls, and she called me up to look at some sterling silver flatware. We also buy that. And when I was coming to her house, she said, I'll be on the back porch. I'll leave the front door open for you. And I said, don't you dare do that. I mean, you only know me from talking to me on the phone here for 5 minutes. I feel I'm a trustworthy person, but I want you to keep that door locked till I get there. And she was a spunky woman, but she still, I mean, she just wasn't thinking, right? She just wasn't thinking there. So you have to be really careful with that. So getting back, we are licensed, and you do take a photo ID when you come in. I have to keep a copy of your photo ID on file for the authorities, but in the same token, all this information is protected. The police can't just come in and ask for my whole binder of license information. That is private information even to them. They have to ask for a particular name that they are looking for. So your information is very important to me. You're secure there and you have your privacy. There are privacy rules in effect also for anybody that comes in. So don't feel if you sell me something, I'm going to tell somebody else about that. I could actually lose my license for that. 2 days ago I had a family came in. They had a young relative come in from Florida and stay with them for a few weeks. He cleaned them out. Didn't just come to my place, but came to my place twice and sold some items. And they came in and wanted the information. And even though I can't give it to them. I said I could sort of say something or nod to you, but I can't. I could lose my license. In other words, somebody's protected until proven guilty. I said you have to call the authorities, and the authorities could do this. So they didn't want to do that. And that's where they're wrong, where they didn't have that tough love for somebody in their family. Sometimes you have to do that. You have to make a point with them so they won't steal again. So, this stuff was protected there, although I did call the police and tell them about it because I was wondering how to handle it. And they said the same thing. We'll get the information from you, but what I'm trying to say is that your information is protected with me, even if you're a criminal. I guess that's what I'm saying, until the right people come and look for it. So make sure that a dealer is licensed. They're popping up all over. They're at flea markets. They're coming to town. You see those big full-page ads. They are not doing this the proper way.
I heard them on the radio too.
Pardon?
I heard them on the radio too.
Yes. So if they do come to town, they have to just buy a $50 license, but they're just not doing that. And you have to beware because this is what could happen. If you sold to an unlicensed dealer, you sell me some jewelry and I wasn't licensed. And now somebody sells me some stolen stuff, and this happened. The guy sort of said that this other person sold him the stuff. So in other words, you have to have documentation on what you sold to me too to protect yourself, that someone else doesn't say that you sold him the stolen stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to have protection both ways. So that it's very important, to have that and for us to be licensed. All right.
Where is your store located?
My store is in Dixon City, right by the Anchor and Oliphant, actually right next door to Hollywood Video that just closed up. It's only a little store in the front. I actually opened up a store in a one-car garage. It worked. There's 18,000 cars a day on Main Street. I'm a marketing major from the University of Scranton, so I use some of the things I learned, and it's the truth. Location, location, location. And having parking there is very important. And it just worked out, and I attribute the radio show that I do every Saturday to really being helpful because, again, I can explain myself, who I am, what I'm doing, and people can call in and ask questions. And I think once people get questions answered and get more intelligent about this, they feel more, easier about doing a deal. I mean, let's face it, you're driving down the street, you're going to sell some gold. You see this store, the first thing you're thinking is, I'm going to walk in that store and I'm going to get taken. This guy is going to take, or woman's going to take advantage of me. I'm trying to get that mystique out of the way that when you come in, yes, I do have to make a percentage, and I'll have to say my percentages average anywhere from 2 to 7 or 8%. I don't make 10, 20, or like in my video business, 33%. It's a small percentage, but I'm doing a volume of business. So that's why I'm able to do what I do. And that's what makes it roll. I got to have the quantity of things coming in on a daily and weekly basis to make this thing roll for me, and it's working, so everybody's happy. Everybody's getting paid a high price. I feel if by some chance you did get a higher price somewhere else, I have a 10% guarantee. In other words, if I offered you $250 and somebody else offers you $300, I will give you $300 plus 10% more. And that has happened twice. Only because the people were very feisty and they sort of made it happen. Like I told them what to do when they did it and they proved they could do it. So that's fine. It's easy for somebody to beat a price if you know somebody else's price by $10 or something like that. So it has happened once or twice, but only because somebody wanted to prove a point that they could do it. I mean, we all have to make a little bit of money. And that's it with that. So what actually do I do? What actually do I buy? This is really important as far as, again, a lot of these gold shops are opening, and what do they want? They want your metals, your gold and your silver, and what they do is they take it and they sell it to a refiner. The refiner takes it, melts it down, and makes another big, nice block of gold that gets maybe sold back into the jewelry trade, and they make new jewelry out of it. It's neat that gold is recyclable. It doesn't get used up like gasoline or something like that. That's the neat part about it. But other items that you might want to sell, like coins that are silver, or even silverware that is silver, we give more for that because we sell them for what they are. We sell coins for coins. They don't get melted down. Because I'm a coin dealer, I have this thing about melting coins. To me, that's like a little bit of a sort of sin to melt down coins, because I love coins and I don't think that they should be melted down, because once they're all melted down, like millions have been, it's going to be less. I appreciate coins, the beauty of them, especially United States coins. We have very beautiful coinage in the United States compared to, I'll put it up to any country in the world. Our coinage is very beautiful coins. We have some, and in these talks that I do, sometimes I bring some more examples. I didn't know what I was going to be into here tonight, so maybe next time if I do it, I'll bring some nice examples. There's the St. Gaudens, as I was talking to this lady about on the break, the St. Gaudens coin. It's a $20 gold piece. It's gorgeous. I mean, when you look at that coin and the workmanship and everything in, it's very beautiful. So we buy things too for that value. So what I'm saying is most gold dealers, aren't coin dealers, so they don't know how to give you that extra money for the coins, because that's what we're reselling them for. So we buy U.S. and foreign gold coins. Gold is very big right now. Many companies, most other gold stores, don't know how to buy foreign gold. You might have some foreign gold from, we have a lot of our fathers and grandfathers who were fighting in wars and brought silver and gold coins back from the war. These all have value beyond their melting them down. There's numismatic value to these coins. I understand that, and I have buyers for that, so it's a win-win situation. Many people are afraid to hold a foreign coin onto it for an investment, because they feel if they had to spend it, that whoever they're giving it to wouldn't understand the value of that. Our American coins, our American Eagle program, which started in 1986, the coins are marked 1/10 ounce, 1/4 ounce, half ounce, and 1 ounce. So let's say our dollar tanks. By the way, our dollar's worth 82 cents today. That's not good news, but I hope it'll get better. If you had 1/10 of an ounce of gold, then if you were to trade that to somebody, they might be more willing to trade that than a foreign coin that just was marked 4 francs or something like that. You know, a franc or one of those different denominations of foreign coins. But I do have many people that appreciate foreign coins. There's many different ways to look at this. I have one gentleman who traded in $40,000 of American gold coins because his fear is that our government is going to recall the gold. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but there are many different ideas out there. So I had to get him $40,000 in foreign gold for his 40, and I charged him, of course. It was like a 5% thing to do that. He has a fear, and then our government wouldn't be able to take the foreign gold from him. Please don't get into these crazy things about our government. I really don't think. And gold, the amount of gold out there is very minimal compared to other things that are invested. Dollars, for example, they're going to might as well tax your dollars before they would do that. I mean, is it possible? There's always a possibility, but I don't think it's going to happen. So anyway,
happened in the past?
Yes, it has happened in the past. That's right. It happened, and it was just put back in. President Nixon brought us to, we weren't able, from 1933 to 71, I believe. Don't quote me on that exact date. You were not allowed to own gold coins, our American coins. You couldn't have them. Which, boy, that really, I wasn't collecting then. That must have teed a lot of people off, So I don't think it's going to happen again, but anyway, if that's what your belief is. I have many people, too, that say junk silver. Junk silver is quarters, dimes, and half dollars, 1964 and before. And again, I was talking to her on the break there. Right now, if you had 4 quarters from 1964, that's $1, correct? If you came into the store today, you'd get $13. $13. A
Yeah.
roll, a $10 roll is a $130.
Yeah.
That's how high silver is right now. So, you know, many people are trading in, but there's also people that are buying that. They buy it, I sell it in $500 bags and $1,000 bags. $1,000 bag is now worth $13,000. I make $500 on that. And in other words, they want junk silver to have a silver dime or a silver quarter to trade maybe for a loaf of bread or something if our dollar collapses. Again, I don't want you to get freaked out about stuff like this, but there are people that think that. And there's nothing wrong with that because that silver is going to increase in price. We were only paying $12 2 weeks ago. Now we're paying $13 for every dollar. That's a big increase just in a few weeks. I'm not saying it can't pull back a little bit, you know, or go up a little bit. But as I was, again, discussing on the break, I believe that silver in the next few months, you know, has a possibility of hitting $23 to $25. It's at 20 now. In other words, if you had pure silver, I would give you $20 for an ounce. The coins are only 90%, and I know that's a little confusing, but I just maybe confused you there, but that's for pure silver. But it is going up in price. Silver, your silverware at home, I had a lady come in today, she had an 8-piece set. Salad forks, dinner forks, regular spoons, soup spoons, and knives, right? An 8-piece set. She got $930 for that. And that was just its silver weights. So a lot of these things are very valuable. Unfortunately, my generation and my wife, I love my wife, great person, but she does not want to clean that silver. My mom took pride in doing that. But this generation, so they're sort of selling it off. And now that stuff too, I am not selling it off to get melted. I have other dealers that I sell it to who are selling it as sets. There are people that still appreciate it, but there aren't as many. And maybe you're some of them too. So we buy that, you know, the silverware.
Can I ask a question?
Silver plated, no. It doesn't have, now I believe that if silver goes high enough, maybe into the $30 range, it will be worthwhile to extract that little bit of silver or gold from gold and silver plated items. But right now, all I can say is that the refiners, they're too lazy. They're getting too much regular gold and silver. They can't keep up with that. So this is pittance to them right now. But I wouldn't throw it away, or I would hold on to it if you can, because I do feel it's going to have value in the near future. You know, it's going to become more and more valuable. They are opening up gold mines that were worthless years ago. Like they weren't getting enough gold to make it worth their while. Now that the price is up, they're opening those mines back up again. So if that's the case, I really feel all this stuff is valuable, and it's going to be more valuable in the future. So we do buy the U.S. and the foreign gold. I sort of got off the track there. We do buy any kind of proof gold and silver eagles. Our government also makes in gold, silver, and platinum since 1986. Because other countries are doing it before, we finally got jealous enough in 1986 to make coins that were a way to save bullion. So like our government makes coins that are 1 ounce silver, 1 ounce gold, and 1 ounce platinum. Of course, the expense goes up. The silver one trades for $23. The gold one is right now at about $1,260. And the platinum one is about $1,600. It's a way to save silver. There's no numismatic value with those coins. They are just bought and sold on their weight. So if you have like a 1986 platinum coin, nobody cares about the date. It's just that it contains 1 ounce of silver or gold or platinum in it. Gold and silver, platinum, jewelry, and coins in any condition. Now, your jewelry, believe me, when you come in the store and put some of this on the scale, it's unbelievable. And people are always amazed. They'll put a little, you see a little bit and they go, "You're kidding me, that little bit is worth that much money." Gold is through the roof right now. The only thing I see as a problem is, if you're going to buy jewelry this Christmas, that's going to be a lot more expensive. Is there going to be a day that people aren't going to be able to afford jewelry and gold and silver is just something that is traded, you know, for investment? That's possible. I mean, a nice chain now is going to cost you $500 or $600. That used to cost half that amount. So who's going to be able to afford that? You know, so there's give and take to everything. Silver dollars are very big. All of our families have Morgan dollars and peace dollars. They're a very big item. There's still many guys, I would say, because mostly they have them on coin boards in bars. They do something with them. And there's always tape marks on them when they bring them in. So there's still a lot of them. There's millions of them out there. And you might have something from the late 1800s and say, wow, this should be worth hundreds of dollars, but it may only be worth $12 to $18 if it's a common date coin, because it's only being traded for its silver value. And again, many of these were not released until the 60s. Our government held millions of them until the 60s and released them. So you can have a coin from the late 1800s that's in very beautiful condition, but yet it doesn't have a lot of numismatic value. So that's another thing that it seems that everybody has those, the silver dollars. And again, in educating people, there's mint marks on the backs of these that would indicate, especially CC, meaning Carson City. It was a mint that was opened up right outside of a mine in Carson City, Nevada for a while. There was so much gold and silver coming out that they actually opened up a mint there, but it didn't last long. So any coins that have this CC, Carson City mint mark, are very valuable. They start at $40 and up, just in poo-poo condition, so that's something always to look for too. We also buy complete as well as incomplete sets. Many people have sets of pennies that it's not finished. We buy those. We buy all that. It doesn't have to be complete. We would like it to be complete, because if it's complete, especially the penny set, then you have that the 1909 S VDB, his initials on it, in just worn condition, is $1,100 for a penny. $1,100, but there's only about 100,000 of them out there, and probably half of those are accounted for. So your search. So when somebody brings one of those in, the first thing I look for is a counterfeit. People actually take little S's and lift them off another coin and put them on those coins. There's many deceptions out there, so please, if somebody ever comes to you to sell you a rare coin, you should have it certified first. And those pennies I got very good with. The S has to lay a little bit at an angle on that coin, because I've seen so many of those. There's just little things, but there's a lot of deceptive people. We're having a lot of trouble out of China. China is counterfeiting everything. They are counterfeiting, and the coins will be made out of gold, but they'll be made to look like a very special date that's worth tens of thousands of dollars. And they're selling these on eBay, and they're here. They're in this town, believe me. They're all around us. Don't think just because, they're made in China. The internet has made things, it's a great tool, but it's also brought a lot of bad things happening. We're seeing that now with sterling silver jewelry. Almost 50% of the sterling silver jewelry that comes into the store is counterfeit. An easy way with jewelry, as well as gold, take a magnet. If it sticks to a magnet, it ain't real. And it's really sad. I've had many people come into the store, break down crying, bought things online, and they're fakes. And I have to just give them back to them. So we're very experienced at testing things. I use acids to test things. I took various seminars, and it's really easy to do, but I've learned some other tricks on how to use different acids for different things to test it fast. So I won't have to harm your jewelry. I take a little sample of that onto like a piece of slate, and I test it there, and I can tell you if it's real. There are many things that aren't marked. Jewelry, if you bought it, again, our families came from other countries. There was no markings on them, but you think it's gold. I can test it to make sure, to see if it's gold, and tell you what purity it is, 10, 14, 18. We have a lot of gold from Ireland. Ireland is noted for 9-carat gold. You might not hear a lot about 9-carat, but that's what Ireland has, 9-carat gold. Most of it comes from there. So there's many different ways to test things, but yet there's many deceptive people out there selling things. So just be aware at flea markets. That's a really big place. Many people come in with, you might even have some of these. They look like $1, but it's silver. It's 4 ounces of silver. It's like a block of silver made to look like $1 or a $100 bill. And in most cases, they're just silver-plated copper. So if you just scratch it lightly, it'll test for silver. But if you cut into it, you'll see the copper color, like right underneath. So they're selling these at flea markets for $8. And how did I learn a couple years ago? I bought one. And then I went to sell it, and you got to learn the hard way too. I've had my hard knocks. I was also, and I'm very honest about this, I was taken advantage for $25,000 one day. A gentleman brought in 25 gold coins. You might say, well, that's a lot. Why didn't that trigger it to you? I do deals that are $250,000, like with people that have gold coins. I do bigger deals. So 25,000 wasn't too big of a deal. I examined all the coins and had the deal done. I went to get the money and made the mistake to give him back them. He pulled out another whole book with fake coins in them. All the weights, I didn't know until about an hour later. I put one on the scale, the weight was, I said, what? I just did these. And he actually switched the whole book on me. So I lost $25,000. So, it could happen to me. And it was hard to admit that because, first of all, I'm supposed to know what I'm doing, but it could happen to any of us. Another gentleman at a coin show 2 weeks ago. Went from the coin show, he's a dealer, had his stuff in the back of his SUV, tinted glass, stopped at the restaurant for 5 minutes, they cracked his window, and they just knew what to take. They got him for 50 grand. 2 bags they took, so they must have followed him from the show.
Yeah.
They must have followed him and knew exactly what to grab, what it looked like. And this guy is a really seasoned dealer, been in the business almost 40-some years, and it could happen to anybody. So you have to be careful. I know I'm jumping around a lot here, just things that are coming into my mind that you have to be careful with whatever happens. That's why when I do these deals, listen, if you don't feel comfortable coming to the store, I meet people at your bank. Of course I'll meet you at your home. I don't necessarily want to meet you at your home because I don't want you to think that I know what you have in your house. I'd rather meet you in a public place, at a bank, or come to the store. The new area that we're going to have is, this place we have now is very secure. I'm behind bulletproof glass. My situation, you've been in there. I have bulletproof glass and 1.25 inch steel. So I feel very protected. When I open up this new store, I'm going to be out with the public, and I don't like that, but I have to do this to get to the next level of my business. But we're taking other precautions. We're going to have somebody on staff there, and camera system, of course, and as much as we can, roll down gates at the end of the night. I'm spending a lot of money on security there, but you do have to be careful. And I've been, this guy that came in was a man in a suit. Everything was right about him, everything was right. My questions to him, he was intelligent about coins, and he got me. And he popped up again in Virginia about 2 months after that. My father-in-law is retired FBI. He is now the top cop in Pennsylvania. He's in charge of 300 detectives. Anyway, they saw him pop up, but they just couldn't get him. They're trying to help me here to get this taken care of. So this guy's just going down the interstate taking advantage of people. And it happens. It happens with robberies. People come to town and they'll just stake out an area, and they'll come and get you. So you got to be careful whatever you do there. I get off the track all the time. I buy complete and incomplete coin sets. Any kind of U.S. minted issued item. The mint, last year alone, if you bought one item of everything they had, it was over $13,000. Our mint puts out a lot of stuff every year, and we buy it all. Any of those items we're capable to buy. The mint, we were talking about coins that were put back into circulation, those Morgan dollars that were from the 1800s, just released in the 60s. I don't know if you're aware of the President dollar coin program we have going on now. Our government is trying to get us to use coins instead of dollars. It's not working. Oh. But still, an act of Congress is making 300 million presidential coins made 4 times a year. 4 different presidents. We're in our 3rd year now. 4 a year are coming out. Abraham Lincoln's coming out very soon. The 15th president just came out. They're doing 300 million of those each. Where are they? You can't get them at the banks. Most banks don't have them. They're actually paying a private person to store them. They're being stored somewhere. An act of Congress made it happen. We don't want them. The public doesn't want coins. They want dollar bills. And so, you know what's going to happen in 20, 30 years? Just found a gigantic hoard of presidential dollars. Yours for $5.95 each are only worth $1. And that's what happens. And who knows why or when, but that's happening.
That's what happened to Susan B. Anthony.
That's correct.
Nobody wanted it.
The Susan B. Anthony is worth $1, but it looked too much like a quarter.
Yeah.
So it just didn't work.
Yeah.
And I could see as I'm getting older how that would be. I could see how that you could mistake that for a quarter. The Sacagawea dollars too, they tried. And many people call me and they think that they're gold coins. I have a gold coin from 2008. And I say, okay, is it an American Eagle, a big one? No, it's a tiny coin with a president on it. I'm sorry, they're gold colored, but they're not gold. So many people think they are, but they aren't. On that, if we'll talk about just the mint for a second, the whole state quarter program, many people completed those sets and come in and try to sell them. So of course, I say I buy everything. Those I can't resell. Nobody wants them. They're just crap.
Worth anything?
Not now. You're going to have to hold on to those. So many people save them that there's such an abundance of them that they just don't have any value besides their face value. So if you got those, you're sort of stuck with them.
What about the presidential coins, dollar coins? Now, if they're hard to come by, does that make them worth more?
You know, you got a point there that many people aren't using them, aren't taking advantage of them. They're all like in storage somewhere. So you're going to put together a set and there aren't any around, and then all of a sudden they're going to release all those coins, and your set that was worth a lot of money isn't going to be worth as much. That's the only problem with it, when they release those coins. In other words, you can have a coin that's very valuable today, but because of things that happen over the next 10 years, that coin will lose value. You know, if they release a lot of those into the stream.
What are those 1965 Kennedy?
Okay.
Are they going to be better?
That's a very good question. In 1964, we ended putting silver in the coins, as we talked about before, having 4 coins from 1964, dollars worth 13. But from 1965 to 1970, our government still left some silver in the half dollars. But they're only 40% silver. And they're worth approximately $1.75 to $2 each. But many people don't know. They think after 64 that was it. So a lot of these coins are out there for you to grab out of pocket change. And they're worth a lot more than 50 cents, sometimes four times their value. So yes, they do have value.
Can I get back to a gold coin, like the
Yep.
Kobierecki and the maple leaf? Like the maple leaf is more, it's a better investment than the Kobierecki. Why?
Well, actually, that has changed over just the last few months because demand is so high for 1 ounce gold coins. I will now pay you the same as I would pay for an American Eagle, South African Kobierecki, Canadian maple leaf, and the fourth one, whatever it is, I'll come into my mind. They're all the same now. They're all 1 ounce of pure gold. We used to pay less for them because they were less desirable. That's the only reason.
The Kobierecki was less
Yes.
desirable than the maple leaf.
That's correct. It was just
But
less
now
desirable.
they're even?
Because of the price in gold, I will pay you the same price for those now. But before though, I only came back about $20 on those for an ounce out of a $1,200 sale. Are you saying somebody would offer you a lot less for a Kobierecki?
Not a lot less,
Okay,
but
a little
less.
Yes, they were trading that way, but now we want to get as many of those as we can because on the other end, we have an abundant supply of buyers that want to buy them. We can't get enough gold coins to satisfy right now because so many people want them. And I'm talking about bullion coins. And again, back to our conversation, many common date $20 gold pieces have lost value, even though gold has gone up. They've lost desirability. Right now, the market is driven by metals. Everybody wants an ounce of silver, an ounce of gold, an ounce of platinum. They are not interested in collectible coins, and that's sad. I'm going to try to bring that back when I have the store. But right now, everybody is interested in how many ounces of metal can I have? Because it's going up so fast. You know, it's just truly amazing.
Just suddenly change.
Pardon?
Couldn't that suddenly change?
Yes.
You'd be, like you're paying like top dollar today for a gold coin and suddenly it goes down. I mean, didn't
Yes.
that happen like in the 70s or 80s?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it did.
when Howard Hunt,
Yeah, these
Cornered
two
the
brothers
market.
sort of cornered the market and they caused a price to spike up. Silver was $50 an ounce. We're at 20 now.
Yep.
20 is considered high, but it was an artificial thing at 50. Many people lost a lot. Many people made a lot of money. More people lost a
Howard
lot of
Hunt
money
lost
back
a lot.
then. I still have people that come in with coins that bought silver at $50 an ounce, and the most I can give them is 20. I mean, so they still can't come out of it. I say hang in there for a while, but I don't know if it's ever going to come back. So anything, it's just like the stock market. This is very volatile. Another point, I'll get to your question, point that I make, when I buy jewelry with my licensing, I have to hold on to it for 5 days before I can resell it. Just in case the jewelry you sell me is somebody else's. So I agree to that. So what if when I buy it at this high price this week of $1,270 some an ounce, and next week it drops $50? You know, I could get hurt, but that's the chance I take in my business. And in most cases, I cost average over the year and I do okay. You know, but you make a good point that could happen. What if? You know, what if something drastic happens? It could happen. The gold price could just fall apart.
And you said that like the market for rare coins is not as popular now.
That's correct. The only part of the rare coin market that is exploding are the key dates, the very rare dates. Those, many people have books, they come out with books with prices. They're all just guides. You can never go by those because it depends what's going on, just like you're saying. Depends on the climate of everything, onto what something is trading for that particular week. But rare coins, key date coins, like we were talking about the penny, the 1909 S with its initials on the back, VDB, you always get top price for that. And there's always buyers for key dates in coins.
Something like that, if you wanted to invest in coins, would that be like the most secure thing to try to look for rare coins?
Yes, exactly. Very, very, very good, because that is the truth.
Well, how much is it selling for?
That particular, well, depending on the condition, but
Okay.
circulated condition,
Yeah.
$1,100.
That's not bad.
$1,100, and it went up over $200 to $300 over the last few years. My brother bought a little bit better one. It's like not mint state, but right underneath it, it's like $3,000. He's made $500 on that coin. Now he didn't make it; it's on paper in his head. You don't make money until it's sold, you know. But on paper, it's worth $500, like in the last year. So that's a great investment to have something like that. They're not easy to find, and everybody knows. They know they have to get a good price for it, you know. So you're never going to buy one for $500. I'm saying, unless someone gave it to you or something like that. You had a question over here. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just getting back to the quarters, in 1976 they had the bicentennial quarter. Are those worth anything?
Another great question. The bicentennial quarters, half dollars, have a different reverse on the back.
Yeah.
So a lot of people say, wow, this is something different. And that's the only thing about them that's different, is the back. As far as the value, their face value. What you might not realize is that there's also another version of all those coins always made for collectors. It's called a proof version. In other words, we have Philadelphia and Denver is used for our circulating, and then San Francisco is used for collectors.
Oh.
That does have silver in it and has silver value. But they're only made for collectors. You're not going to use that to buy things. They're just very pretty, mirrored-looking versions of the coins that come out every year. And this year we have a very big set. There's 4 presidents in it, 4 Abraham Lincoln pennies. The sets are getting humongous. There used to be 5 coins in them. Some of them are up to 33 coins now in the set. So it's neat, but there's a lot going on because I guess the Mint's doing very well with it, and we are buying them. That way the coin business is doing very well. The Mint is making a lot of money. I think.
Now, are those worthwhile as investments, or are they just like so overpriced?
Proof sets?
Yeah.
Yes, certain years. Like 99 was the first year that the state quarters came out. If you have the 99 set, the S, the silver version, it's sold for $38. It's worth $475. There aren't many of them in that series like that. When that comes in, that's one that I always hold on to. Of course, I have to pay more to get it. But there are, yes, in the 90s we had a lot of things happening, and then like the early 60s back through the 40s and 30s, they were the big sets. Like a set from 1937, a proof set from 1937 is about $8,000. There's only 5 coins in it. But not many were made. Not many sets were made. So it's all about, how rare a coin is, the rarity and the condition of it. I missed somebody over here.
This copper.
Oh, copper. Well, copper, this is another good question. We'll talk about wheat pennies. Many people have wheat pennies. I am paying 3 to 1 on those right now, 3 cents for every one. You might say, well, that's nothing. Well, a lot of them are out there. And actually, there aren't any buyers out there now. I have about, I would say, close to 200,000 wheat pennies in the store. I'm trying to find some cool containers to put them in. You know, there'll be a neat item for people to look at, and maybe we'll do a guessing thing on it someday or something. But I'm waiting for copper to go up. If copper goes up, like, you know, all I need to go up is like, you know, like $1 or so, and I can get 4 cents for those, I'll make 25% of my money, right? Even though it's only on a penny. So you got to look at it that way too, you know, percentage. Copper took a little bit of an up and it came back. Copper's not doing good because our economy isn't doing good. We're not using it. Once we get rolling again here, and the same thing with silver. Why will silver go up? Silver, again, once our economy gets going, silver is used in a lot of what we call emerging technologies, solar panels, all these cell phones, all these pads, all of them have silver in them. Once our economy gets really, they're going to need more and more silver, and silver should go up because of that alone. You know, gold isn't used in that many things. Silver is used in thousands of applications, and there's a lot of new technology that uses silver. So copper, it's not going to come back until we start working and putting up buildings and doing more of that kind of stuff. Even though they don't use much copper anymore in piping, it's all plastic now.
Like pipes and stuff.
Yeah, but once that gets, they still need it though, because copper is a great metal. You know, and who knows, maybe in the future we'll start taking some of those other metals. I'll have the room there to do it. I always envisioned that a woman like you probably never wants to go to the junkyard. You're afraid to go in there, your tires will get cracked or something. You know, if you had an easier place to drop that, maybe you'd be... Yeah, well, I picked the wrong woman then.
So basically we're saying that the coinage of today is, as far as collectibles, is only good for the metal. Because they make so many, there is not a rare coin that's going to be created today.
In today's coins, the place where we find rarities are, a way to say, are mistakes. Yes,
mistakes.
Things that something didn't get printed on the edge, or it's on there sideways.
But they print so many different coins and so many of each one that
that's right.
They're never going to be a rarity.
Or they put an extra leaf in something or something like that. But you're right, there isn't as far. That's right. They make so many.
So
of
all
them.
that's ever going to be worth anything as numismatic value is what's already out there as being valuable.
That's correct. Except for these oddities and things like that.
Yeah.
Because we are very good at what we do now, and they're lasting a long time.
We're too good at what we do.
Our coinage really lasts.
Yeah.
You know, we got it down. Our Buffalo nickels, the dates wear off them.
Yeah.
Our Roosevelt or dimes, they're a war horse. They're really hanging in there. And same thing with the Jefferson nickel. They're very good. We've had those for years, and I don't know if they're going to change them. They do talk about getting rid of the penny and the nickel. If that happens, your pennies are really going to go up in value because then you'll have attention.
Yeah, but there still must be 50 billion of them out there somewhere.
That's correct.
Everybody in their house has got 1,000 pennies in their jar somewhere.
Go ahead.
Fellow up the coffee shop came in with a coin that was only stamped on one side.
All right, so the first thing I look for there is a counterfeit. We have a lot of machine shops, a lot of jewelers, and you could, you know, do that, strip it down. So I have to really look at something like that. I've had about 3 or 4 Washington quarters that were double-headed. As soon as I put it under the microscope, I could see a crease in there where somebody inserted the other one in there. So again, anytime something happens like that and it's a valuable coin, there are companies that they actually encapsulate these, you know, and grade them. And that's what I always tell people. If you have something expensive, it has to go there and get done. And they might say, well, I'm not going to send my coin, they're going to steal it on me. Believe me, these companies do multi-million-dollar coins. This is what they do for a living, you know, so they're not going to steal your coin. I send coins into these companies all the time. I believe in getting coins graded. There are many people that are getting into this business are, you know, people that aren't coin collectors. So they want to be sure what they're getting is real, and it is what it is. And then you can just check it against the book. If you brought a coin into me and said it's mint state, and I said, nah, not quite. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. This way, if a third party grades it, it's pretty much the law that that's what it is, and you know that it's real. So if you have something very valuable, I always suggest doing that. I'm an authorized submitter for those coins. You can do it through me, and it's about 30 bucks. I don't make anything on that. It's about $30 to get a coin authenticated. So that's a neat thing too. Talked about the sterling silver and the flatware, the dinnerware. You know, people come in with trays. Has to be marked sterling. Many people, it tarnishes, it smells, it looks like it, but if we cut into it, you're going to have something fake. It has to be marked sterling. I talked about the certified coins. That's, you know, very important to get things certified. This is something I'd like to talk about because it affects us all. I thought that it just affected me until a couple weeks ago when I read into it. In our health care bill, something has been buried. Section 9006, I don't know laws and stuff, but are that many sections in the health care bill? In the new health care law, passed by Congress and our President in March, requires that businesses of all sizes, as well as governments and nonprofits, file a 1099 form with the IRS reporting any purchase they make of goods or services of $600 or more in a tax year. So before, if you came into my store and we did a deal for $10,000, I would have to give you a 1099. Starting, it's law. Starting in 2012, it's going to be $600. And that's just not my business. I just said nonprofit. Any business that gives you, that you give $600 to, they're going to have to file this on you. So this is bad news, and it's law. Many people in my business, in the coin business, are getting together, and hopefully we can try to repeal this. It is law, and it's going to take place in 2012. But that's bad, and it's another, in other words, I don't care about the reporting, the paperwork. If she comes into me with a $28 gold sale, then she comes in for $35 during the course of a year, I'm going to have to track every one of my customers and make sure they don't hit that barrier. And here's an example. Let's say, where did he go here? Well, I don't know where it went to, so I'm just going to say it the way it was here. Okay. If you're in a small shop and pick up donuts every day for your office, I may say every Friday, eventually it's going to hit $600. They're going to have to give you a 1099 on that. You're going to have to pay on those darn donuts. If anything you buy over $600.
What's the
this,
purpose of that?
well, they want to know what you're doing with your cash. On my end, if you're cashing in your jewelry and it's less than $10,000, you're free to do whatever you want with that cash. Now if I pay you $600, the government's going to know, and you better report that.
And you better pay tax.
So if you're in a taxable category, like I'm in a 28% of that $600, I have to give them out of my $600 every time I do that.
Why is it in the health then?
I don't know why they bury stuff. Maybe Joe would know how they bury things in different things. It's just in there. And they do this a lot. Right. So it's just something, if you hear about it and in any way you could just sign a paper or something, please do, because it affects everybody. It affects every business out there. And so now I'm going to have to hire a part-time person to keep an eye on this. So I'm going to have to pay you a little bit less because I have to pay them. So it's all just stuff that we all don't want to do. So that's a little thing there.
I wanted to ask you a question
Yes.
about the jewelry. The jewelry that you're purchasing now is all going down to be melted, pretty much. Now there's always a market and if you look at like antique markets and stuff for jewelry as is, what's going to happen with the, all that stuff is gone. There's not going to be any jewelry of today that will be available for sale as antique.
Yep. 50% of the gold that comes back into the market is now recycled gold. 50%. So 50% is coming fresh out of a mine. 50% is coming from being recycled. The thing is,
Which is, why is it not being resold as gold jewelry instead of being...
I wish if I had the people, I would, and I do sell to some people that do that. But most people don't want to see their stuff in a cabinet. If they sold me grandma's heirloom, they want it gone, you know what I mean? They don't want it, or maybe they would want it, but most people don't want somebody else to have their stuff. I would say 60% of my stuff does not get melted down. It is sold to investors. When I first started, I had 4 people that they were women and men, took over $100,000 each out of their the stock market when all that was happening, and they had invested. And when they started investing with me, it was $878 an ounce. It's $12.70 now. They've made 40% on their, over a year and a half only, they've made 40% on those initial buys. So but they're not saving it to resell it. I don't know what they're saving. They're just saving it to have that instead of a gold coin. They're hedging that the market's going to continually go up. They're probably going to sell it back to me when it hits a point, and I'll rebuy it back from them. But anybody that ever wants to buy that stuff, I have a very good market for good stuff. You know what I mean? And just as long as I'm getting what I would get for it when I was selling it to the refiner or my investors, guys that I had buying from me, I would love to sell it to somebody. I have some beautiful things I get, and yes, it's sad. It's sad that they're just going, but I don't have I'm okay, but I don't have money to sit on millions of dollars of gold. Wish I did.
Also, what happens to stones in most jewelry, except for wedding bands and
Another good question.
chains?
Most stones have to be taken out before. I'm actually not allowed to take stones out anymore. That just changed. Because if it's somebody else's items, they don't want the items damaged if by some chance it was stolen. So now, and I can't pay you for those, so I'll have to make a deduction, and I don't like doing that. I want things to be exact. So I'm requesting that whatever you sell me has to already be taken care of. So you keep your stones, take them out. I'm not supposed to take them out. Do I take one out here and there for a customer? I'll just say, I'm going to ask you a question. Would you allow me to take these out? And they say yes, And I say, okay, I take it out and I give it back to them. But I also question them too, like, this is your stuff, right? Not that everybody's going to tell me that. They're not going to say it's stolen, but I'm getting to be a very good judge of people when they come in. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm a lot better than I was when I first started this 3 years ago, the gold end of it. I've been in the coins a long time as far as the gold end of it. If you're dancing around or something or look like you need a fix, out. It's not worth it. Not worth it for the $50 I'm going to make on a $500-600 deal, you know what I mean? To have the cops come back in 2 days later, It happens, believe me,
My cousin said start dancing.
Yeah, they come in with all kinds of, right. I heard class rings there. That's the biggest thing people trade in. That's the #1 thing people trade in to get rid of is a class ring. That's something and they're usually 10 karat. And depending on the size of your finger, they could go anywhere from $50 to $250. The guys with the big football fingers, those are about $250. And with those stones just turn to powder when you whack them with the hammer. They must be poured in or something. They're fake. So in most cases, I know how much to deduct for those, like ½ a carat, because I have all the different sizes there of stones to go along. And then after the 5 days is up, I knock those out. I actually in the beginning when I used to take the stones out, I used to give them to the Girl Scouts. And then they said, don't give us any more, we're giving us too many stones. They would glue them on things. I had no use for them. They're probably, who knows what they were. It just wasn't my business. Wow. Nobody would give me massive diamonds or anything like that. But as far as, rubies and stuff like that. But everything keeps changing. The business keeps changing and morphing into different things. And I'd like to see some laws change for the dealers. I like, then there'd be less dealers. I like to see the price of a license go up from $50 to $500 because there's just too many people getting into this and it's giving it a bad name. And I'm not saying I don't want to share. There's a lot of good dealers, like right in Dixon City, Broncos. I'll say right there, they're great, They're a competitor of mine, but they're very fair. I don't know how they are on their prices with their stuff, but I'm talking about as far as gold. But go the other way down the street and you got people taking advantage of people. I'm talking about sometimes 50% less they're paying people. And those people that come to town with the big ads. I like to talk about that just for a minute. Again, doing business in America is whatever you want. Those guys, where we're paying $13 as I told you for 4 quarters, they're paying $8. It's not that they're not paying you, they're just not paying as much. And you know what? They'll stay there an extra week because they're doing so well. Because so many people keep coming there. They're not educated and they're just like giving stuff away a lot cheaper than they should. No wonder why these guys keep coming back to town. They're making big hits when they come here. And they're taking the stuff out of here, they're taking the business out of here, and I try to support local stuff myself as much as I can.
What about those people who, I hear advertising on the radio?
They send it
They
in?
have a shop here somewhere, because they give you the address and everything, the phone number, but they're advertising on the radio. Are they
Well, I
reputable
don't know,
people?
I advertise on the
I
radio.
know, but I've never heard here.
Okay.
I've heard other ones.
Are you talking about something you send into?
Yeah. Yeah. that's right.
Yeah, well, they're just not gonna pay as much. I mean, Good Morning America did something like that, where like a local guy like me paid $350, they paid them $80. It's not, and the guy says, we're convenient. The owner of that big business, he said, we're convenient, we don't care, we know we don't pay as much. But, people send them, and maybe if you send stolen stuff there too, they'd accept that. There's no checks and balances there, And what I'm saying is just be careful, and I always encourage people, go a few places. Come to me last, you know what I mean? I'm just confident that, I'm paying a fair price. I'm not saying some people might, especially the new guys when they first open up, they pay high and high, and they're out of business because they can't make it. I mean, you gotta make some money at this, you gotta pay some bills and stuff like that, and advertise and do different things. So just get educated. It's with anything. I mean, I think you just have to get educated about what you're doing, and learn about it, and not just go somewhere right off the cuff and sell something just like that and be done with it, And if you get ripped off that way, then you deserve it. That's all I can say with that, Any other questions?
Well,
Yes, sir, in the back.
What is the approximate weight of a wedding ring?
Okay. Like a wedding ring, you're talking about a man's, like, band?
No, my mother's, 1923.
With the stone?
No, a gold
A
wedding
band?
ring.
Okay, a band. And usually those are 14 karat, because most of that was good stuff back then. So on a woman, you're going to be anywhere again from about $50 to $150. You should be at least $50. Unless you had a very thin band or wore it down from cooking raviolis or something, Yes, sir.
Now, I've been told the world is running out of silver, so silver's going to be going astronomical because of that.
Well, the mines are still going very well, and I understand that there's a lot of places that that haven't been mined yet that there is silver. So, I mean, I think that everything is going to have its end there, but I think that we're pretty good with it, and I think that we'll find other ways to do things without silver. Like whatever electrical or whatever they're using it for, all these different things. There's other things to use with it, but I didn't hear that about we're running out. Maybe it's getting more and more expensive to mine. I would say that could be a factor, I missed somebody. What's up there?
You were talking about gold coins, and you said that if they're not a really rare gold coin, they're really not worth any more than what a coin was. Like, say, like a little $5 gold, like a 1905 or 1907 $5 gold coin.
It has some numismatic value, but you're not going to get like that particular coin you're talking, a $5 gold piece. $5 gold piece, say 2.5 is 180, so they're going for about $320 now. If that was just in like pretty just basic condition. I mean, there's some wear on it and stuff like that. So the gold value in it's probably about like $275. So you're getting some numismatic value. It's just that people aren't super eager to buy them. I don't have people lining up. And then I talk about nationally too. They're not lining up to buy those. They want a gold piece that is like a quarter ounce. That's relatively what we're talking about here. About a quarter. They'd rather get a quarter ounce gold piece than that, unless you had something a super good date. I'm not saying we're not paying a good price for them. It's just that I don't have people that want to buy 4 or 5 of those at a time.
And also, you were talking about 4 quarters. Is that dated quarters or just bullion?
Yeah, like your quarters, 1964, 63,
Say
62.
the dates are worn out, they're still worth the same.
That's
amount.
right.
Yeah, it's effective because you're getting silver value.
That's correct, and that's a good point too. We don't pay you based on the weight of a silver coin. Some gold shops do that, they'll weigh it. I don't care how worn it is. I'm trading it as a quarter. Like I put them in bags of quarters and stuff. So you could have one that's pretty much worn. Just as long as I can tell it's a quarter, you're going to get paid. You could be shaving some of that silver off and selling it somewhere else. But right, I give you an idea, right? But I still pay you not on the weight, but on its face value. And that's amazing, that they're paying so much that the way they are. It's just.
That's before 1964.
Mm-hmm. Quarters, dimes, and halves. Actually, you could multiply any of them by 13 too. A dime is worth $1.30, and so on, or $13 on every dollar. It's a very interesting business, and I didn't cover too much. I mean, I'm sure I covered some, but we could go on forever here about things and just trying to. Oh, thank you, appreciate that. Yes.
Are the older type coins really gone up in price because of other coins going up, like the old large pennies, the 2-cent pieces, the 3-cent?
Yes, that's good. See, now you have coins that aren't gold or silver or platinum. Yes, those, because they don't have anything competing against them, like, yes, like large pennies, those large pennies, I mean, that stuff starts at 20 bucks and they don't have to be in that good a condition. Just as long as we can read the date and read 1 cent on the back, those big pennies he's talking about there, like the size of a $half. Yeah, that stuff. 2-cent pieces, 3-cent pieces.
The 3-cent silver.
People wonder, why was there a 3-cent piece? And I found out about that. That's because the stamps were 3 cents. So they made a coin to buy stamps. Guess we had a 3-cent stamp for a long time, you know?
Are the 3-cent silvers
Yeah.
worth more because than the regular coin just
Yes.
because it's silver?
Because that's an
Not a lot
odd
of
thing.
silver.
That's an odd thing there. But that's worth more than silver.
If you have a bill, like a $5 bill, that's a silver certificate, is that worth more than $5?
Depending on its condition and its date. Most $5 bills I see are from 1963, unless it's pristine. Sorry, can't give you anything more for it. Has to be like ironed, and don't iron it. Has to be like it's ironed. Perfect condition. And same thing with silver certificate dollars from 57. We get a lot of those. They're no value on them. Hold on to them though. Well, thanks so much. I appreciate you guys listening to me. And hopefully I answered some questions.